The legendary 9.58 seconds that changed the sport forever.
Ist Usain Bolt nicht zu halten? Nein, er gewinnt!
In a day and age where there's been a lot of world records recently, I think it's interesting to take a look back in time to what may be the one moment, the one world record that's the greatest of them all.
9.58!
And yes, there's many great moments in track and field, and I think there's a reason that world records are so great, but I also think there's a reason that World Athletics puts this one world record up there as one of the top ones. And while I do think Olympic performances are kind of in their own category because that really is the biggest stage, the World Championships also feature some great moments as well. And one of these was what Usain Bolt did in the 100 meters at the 2009 edition of the World Championships in Berlin. The 100-meter race is often considered the ultimate test of speed. It is an event where having a fast start is important, but it isn't an event where it's something that's absolutely crucial and significant, like, say, the 60-meter dash. The 100 meters is a sprint distance that's long enough, odd enough as that may sound, because many think of the 100 as a short race, and it is the shortest race in outdoor track. But it is long enough where a sprinter can get into their running, if you will, and really go through their gears of speed. It may not feature quite as much runway as the 200 meters, but the 100 is certainly a race where there are distinct phases: the reaction, the drive phase, the acceleration, the maintenance, and deceleration. It's a race with parts to it, and there's parts of the race where Bolt clearly excelled at a level we just have never seen before in the sport. And I think that's important to note because Bolt was not really your prototypical 100-meter sprinter. You'll notice that just on the start line, he was not quite like his competitors, and his competitors were the fastest men in the world, optimized to cover the 100-meter distance with maximum speed. And that's where acceleration is an important factor. It can be advantageous to have a shorter stride length to getting off the line quick. You think about how short quick steps get you off the line faster than trying to take long ones. More steps, more accelerations, which is why cadence is something that is a critical component. Top sprinters have exceptionally high cadence. Yet Bolt was, well, more different, less conventional. And while he did have not the greatest of starts, and again, this isn't to say his start was not good. It certainly was. You have to have a very great start if you're going to be an elite 100-meter sprinter. But what truly defined Bolt was not his start, but his ability to close these races over the latter half of the 100 meters. Again, sprinting often emphasizes the importance of quick starts and explosive accelerations. But Bolt would show that while those elements are important, his stride length and top-end speed at the end of the race put him beyond the rest. Even though his start was not as fast as some of his rivals, his top-end speed over the final 30 meters especially was unmatched in a way that was, well, just spectacular to witness as he left his competitors behind. Overall, Bolt's ability to reach his top speed late in the race allowed him to put distance on his competition in a way that was just amazing. And he would put so much distance sometimes that he would be a very clear winner, leading to victories that were oftentimes hard to believe. After all, sprinting is oftentimes decided by the smallest of margins, yet Bolt would oftentimes win by very comfortable margins of victory, and that wasn't the only thing with Bolt. There was also just his general personality and attitude, often just looking relaxed as he prepared to compete at the highest level.
Usain Bolt.
And that was part of what made Bolt, well, Bolt. He seemed to operate at an ease that appeared almost casual to his audience. And that takes us to Berlin. I feel like the performance, well, simply speaks for itself.
Ist Usain Bolt nicht zu halten? Nein, er gewinnt!
But you see in this race how Bolt gets a decent start, and with this decent start, he's already doing well. before he even really gets into his strength, which is the latter part of the race. And after that, there was simply no stopping Usain Bolt as he ran a performance that was simply otherworldly, not just sub 9.7, sub 9.6. And for sprinting fans, you know a tenth of a second is huge in sprinting. It's just the nature of the sport and how thin the margins of victory usually are. When you think about the 100-meter world record in the 9.5s, well, that's a whole lot of significance in terms of legacy. And of course, whenever a record is set, it's natural to wonder, could it get even faster? Of course, records should be appreciated, but I think there may be some saying out there that records are set to be broken. That's kind of the beauty of the sport, pushing progress and seeing what athletes can do. Could sprinters break the 9.5-second barrier? It's still something that has yet to happen many years after Bolt's historic 9.58 world record, but that performance certainly has shown that it's in the realm of possibility. And I think that's where we can look at the World Athletics points table and really just get a sense of how good this 9.58 time was. Now, of course, the tables are the tables and each race has its own conditions, but you can see it is an equivalent to a 19.16 200 meters, faster than Bolt's own insane 200-meter world record. And also, I know maybe in some sense you aren't supposed to really compare the points across the tables, but the equivalence, if you look at a 1356 World Athletics performance, it is just absolutely staggering. Times like 3:22 for the men's 1500 meters, 12:21 for the 5K, 25:41 for the 10K. Times that are still far beyond the horizon right now, and times that may take a very long time to achieve, even with advancements in shoe technology and training and the like. It's simply staggering because even when you take on the world records that are considered so out there, and you'll see that Bolt's 9.58 is simply a performance that has not been paralleled in the sport. It's just mind-boggling to think about. You have times today that are 0.2 seconds slower, and that's considered very fast. And when you think about it in percentage terms, that difference is over 2%. And it gets harder and harder to shave off those thousands of seconds as you get faster and faster. The 100 meters is often seen as the pinnacle of athletics, and its history has been shaped by some of the greatest athletes of all time. However, Bolt's world record is distinct. Not only did he break the world record, he did it in a time that was, and still is, the real standard and the most exceptional performance by some metrics in the track and field world. And as epic as his performance was by itself, you also have to consider just the atmosphere of the whole event. That was something to truly behold. It was amazing in Berlin that day, along with the sheer spectacle of Bolt's victory, making it one of the most memorable moments in athletics history. His record remains a benchmark, the benchmark for all sprinters to measure themselves against when trying to become the fastest man in the world. And it will likely remain one of the greatest, if not the greatest moment of track and field for many, many years.
They are figures that we can hardly believe.
Bolt's 9.58-second world record in 100 meters is not just a statistical achievement. It's really something that represents human potential, athletic excellence, and the pursuit of greatness. The world record continues to stand as a beacon of what athletes can truly achieve and a truly defining moment in not just the athletics world, but really beyond.